Hi everyone, Carter Krishnaiyer from the Pavilion here on Beyond the Boundary. It was a semifinal for the ages. We knew it would be one. And India move on to their fourth final, seeking their third T20 World Cup title with a 7-run victory over England at the Vakande. Just a classic match of cricket. And I think I want to lay this out here that in matches like this, the difference is made on a few individual moments. And there are two I picked out. And I also want to pay tribute to Bethell, who is young, who has impressed me this entire tournament, maybe the only England player who I think has been consistent throughout the entire tournament. And as I said a few weeks ago, during the group stage, he's unflappable. He has a calmness, a temperament, a refinement in his game and in his body language that really impresses me. So his century today, historic in the semifinal, that's my headline. Bethell, he's one for the future. England cricket in great hands because of him. But the two key moments of the match for me are Brook, the captain, Harry Brook, dropping an easy routine catch in the third over that would have retired Sansom. I think that's the match right there. I think and Jofra Archer didn't bowl particularly well today, but that was a very good delivery from him, and the ball was hit exactly where he expected it. The captain is there, so that's point one that I'm going to say. My other point, my other key moment was when Axar Patel made that dynamic, acrobatic flip to Dubé to get a wicket. That stemmed the flow of runs where England, I think, were on pace, particularly given what was remaining in the last overs, particularly given, I think, Sky changed his plan in terms of bowlers in the power play and the middle overs because of how England was producing runs, particularly Bethell, who I referred to already. So I think there was a change in bowling intention, a change in the plan, in the team plan from Sky because of India not getting early wickets. They got one early wicket, but not. The opening partnership for England hasn't been good this entire tournament. We know that, but they kept their bats alive about as long as they've kept them alive this entire tournament. And Bethell's, the flow of runs Bethell was producing, that was a huge moment, that catch. So I think that's my other key moment. So two individuals, in my opinion, defined this match. Bethell, who we've talked about, with his century, with his unflappable, cool nature. And then, of course, for me, Bumrah, always. He's the best bowler in the world. And the thing that gets me is that England have seen Bumrah for a decade. England batters have seen Bumrah, whether it's in the IPL or whether it's international competition. They have faced off with him in each of the two previous semifinals. This is the third successive semifinal where England have played India. And his deliveries still remain a mystery to a lot of England batters. So Sky, I think, changed. I don't think he wanted Bumrah bowling in the power play. I think this is going to be like the Windies match, where you then try and get some wickets in the middle of the innings. But the opening bowlers for India were so poor and so loose, and I have to say this: the entire bowling lineup, and India doesn't have the strength of going to a sixth bowler. This is something New Zealand will be aware of going into the final in Ahmedabad. They do not have the depth in their bowling crew on this particular squad. So when one or two bowlers is off, you have to make the most of Bumrah's overs. If you're India and your bowling attack, you have to space out his overs in such a fashion that you can stop the flow of runs. And the other four bowlers for India, I think today were all poor, quite frankly. Poor length on so many deliveries. I could have even gone ball by ball and in some overs and kind of talked about the Yorkers not working, the Googlies being ill-timed, bad deliveries on the offside, which England batters, Bethell in particular, just got a hold of. Putting a ball in the wrong position to where the field alignment invited England batters to find gaps, in the England batters standing in the crease to find those gaps. Really bad bowling effort from India. Not the first time we've seen that in this tournament, but Bumrah is so good. He's so unique. He's so in control. And he slowed down the flow of runs each of his overs. His economy, if you just look at it on a general scale, may not be that impressive, but it was the timing of the overs. You had to watch the match to get the feel for that, and how India is really lucky. India is so lucky. This is a very special talent. This is a man of one of the best bowlers I've seen in my life. I'm in my 50s now, by the way. I have the gray hair to prove it. And they're just riding their luck. They're riding Bumrah. They've rode him in this T20. They've rode him in the ODI World Cup to get to a final. They've rode him in Test series with Australia, or one-day series with Australia. Test series. I mean, they've rode him the last decade. So, at some point, he's going to be gone, and India is not going to be as formidable, and India is not going to be winning trophies. But of course, you're turning the page on a Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Jasprit Bumrah era gradually. So is that next generation of Indian cricketers at the same level? I'm not sure they are, quite frankly. But how could you be? Those are three all-time greats. But the lack of controlled bowling, the lack of strategic bowling from India in this match, of the other Indian bowlers. But we even saw this in the final against South Africa 2 years ago, where, again, it was Bumrah's overs that won India that match, that won India that title. So that's something New Zealand's going to have to be aware of. So for the final, if you are Sky, do you bowl Bumrah in the power play? Because Allen and Seifert are the best opening partnership in this tournament. They have gone to a match in this tournament undefeated. It was in the group stage. This has been such a long tournament. It was at some point in the group stage. They went through a tournament, I think 175 for 0, for nil. 175 for nil. That is the risk you run. I mean, it's not going to be that because Bumrah's going to bowl at some point. But the risk you run if you don't bowl him in the power plays, New Zealand could be 75 for nil after 6 overs. And depending on whether you bowled first or batted first, it may not matter at that point. You are up against it. So we're going to have a lot more time to preview the final. Today, congratulations to India. Congratulations in particular to Bumrah. Sanson had some nice hitting. I think Abhishek Sharma is having a terrible tournament. I don't think I drop him for the final, but I'd be interested to see what they do with him. By the way, Daisy is making an appearance again. Daisy's now a regular from the pavilion. She's now a big part of all of our shows, it seems like. But Washington Sundar is a player I like a lot. I think is a decent bowler. He's a guy that maybe you think about in the final if you're India. We have plenty of time to preview that. So let's see, what else do I have in my notes? With Jofra Archer, he bowled poorly today. Again, this might have been a mistake by Harry Brook not to bowl Rashid earlier. Adil Rashid kind of served the same function, at least in his first 2 overs, that Bumrah was serving, slowing down the run rate, maybe not getting wickets, or I think he got 1 or 2 wickets, but slowing down that runway rate. Archer was caught between seam and pace, and he was he was hit pretty easily today. Jack's bowling wasn't very good. Overton was brought back into the team. I'm not quite sure why. I think that might have been a mistake. That might have been another mistake that England made. That change, I'm not particularly a fan of, because I have to tell you, I've got pages of notes here, by the way, but which I don't want to go through this whole thing, but I felt like that Ahmed may have been able to do a better job in this match than Overton. That was ultimately the call for experience, and maybe some advantages given the batting tendencies and right-hander versus left-hander, that sort of thing, that Harry Brook was looking at. But I think ultimately it was a mistake. 7 runs. That's all that was in it. Very easily could have gone the other way. I mentioned the 2 hinge point moments, and I also think some of these selection decisions cost England. Were England the better team than India today? It's hard to say. They were both really good, but yeah, it was an epic semifinal. But for me, the takeaway is Bethell. What a player! He's arrived.